And good morning, everyone. When I finally sat down to prepare my presentation a few weeks ago, I was astonished by the sheer length of the title I had chosen. Not sure why I did that. But anyway, the gist of it is that I want to share with you the journey of how we got 11 country programs aligned in their community engagement work while still allowing the flexibility that local contexts demand in order to realize the change that we're trying to go about. So this is really about how we developed our theory of change for community engagement work and the benefits that it has brought to us as an organization since then. By now, I think you're probably all pretty clear on what the Brook does, so I'm not going to reiterate that fact. My role in particular is to support all these lovely people you've heard from throughout the conference so far in the work that they do in the field. Our programs have three key streams of work: advocacy, improvement of health and husbandry services, and working in partnership with equine owning communities, which is what we call community engagement. This is the work stream we currently employ the widest range of human behavior change approaches. So where we came from. Community engagement work at the Brook went a number of years without a global network for sharing and coordinating efforts. And the results in recent years is that the area of work didn't seem to have a well-defined organization-wide vision of what success looked like. Success was often being reported as outputs or outcomes not clearly linked with the initial welfare problem prioritized in the community. And as an organization, we didn't feel that the results were demonstrating maximum welfare return on investment of these programs, which are very time and resource intensive. So in 2014, we undertook a year-long process to define desired outcomes and map out the critical change pathway. We went through backwards mapping exercises with UK and country program colleagues from a variety of positions ranging from senior management down to field staff. Several of those colleagues are here this week and as presenters and can attest to the fact that when we started it was a sea of post-it notes, a sea of note cards all over the place, all over the rooms that we were doing this in. And then the challenge was actually to consolidate it into something that was digestible and able to be applied on an everyday basis. It took 2 rounds of consultation and refinement to get to where we are now, but it was actually pretty encouraging to see that although it wasn't always coming across very clearly in project proposals and project reports, when it came to the heart of it and we all went through this process together, we were very much on the same page. So what has resulted so far? We're still in the fairly early stages of having and applying this framework, but there's been a lot of encouraging results already. We haven't lost any of the context-specific methods that the Brook has always really strived to have, but our efforts have been more focused and joined up as an organization. I personally feel, and you can chat to my colleagues later on to verify whether this is actually the case, but I personally feel it's been more of a we're in this together kind of feeling across the Brook community engagement community, if you will, across our programs. So everybody now is speaking about success in the same language, which has advantages for sharing lessons internally and externally as well. The framework has helped shape and guide projects while ensuring gaps are more easily identified and addressed. And it served really as the backbone of global monitoring, evaluation, and reporting tools, providing clarity as well on the self-competencies that we as community facilitators need to have if this is our vision of success. So this, again, by now you're probably familiar with, you've seen it in a couple of the presentations. This is a very boiled down version of the final product. There are fuller versions printed on the backs of the poster handouts from the posters my colleagues have brought. So at the bottom of those posters you'll find packets and there'll be a more detailed version on the back if you're interested. In the few minutes left I have to speak, I'll just talk through the significance of the different levels, which clarify what we're trying to achieve and how we expect that change to come about. So we start with the organization's goal at the top there, followed by the 2 outcomes which this area of work can most contribute towards it. We believe that this is behavior change of equine owners, users, and caregivers, and social change within the wider community. So while previously we might have been reporting success as an increase in owner knowledge or as outputs such as the number of equine welfare groups that had been formed, we're now all focusing on the specific behavior and social changes that directly link with the welfare issues prioritized within each of the communities. These changes are represented in 4 indicator themes that you see there. These are made smart at local level according to the context and the priorities. The next level down contains conditions required to achieve change, ensuring people have the capability or the knowledge and skills to change, the motivation or the desire and the willingness to change, and the opportunity. So we're really looking at access to resources and ensuring that there's an enabling environment to put the changes into place. There will always be the temptation, I think, to revert back to planning mainly community trainings and information and awareness raising sessions. But I think this framework has already served as a constant reminder that we need to think more broadly and seek to understand the unique barriers to change in the individuals and communities that we work with. For example, it doesn't do much good to hold training sessions on what to feed your horse if the communities can't access the right feedstuffs, can't afford them, or they're not available, or if they don't really even see it as an issue worth addressing to begin with. The next level down is quite vague at global level. That's because it signifies the approaches and activities required to achieve those conditions above there. These will always vary according to what suits each individual community. There's no one-size-fits-all approach at the Brook. The constants that we aim for are to be as participatory as possible, to ensure the changes are locally owned, and to be able to continue long after the Brook exits. Many of you would have seen the copies of Sharing the Load out on the tables out front and have picked up some of those, so that's a great place to learn more about the actual approaches, the tools and methods that we use during this process. So the final level there is laying out the competencies we as a group of community facilitators need to have in order to achieve the above. This has really helped programs in structuring job descriptions, making hiring decisions, shaping learning and development plans, peer mentoring and feedback sessions between facilitators in the field. And that is basically a whirlwind tour of something I usually take 45 minutes to explain in detail. I was worried I wouldn't make it in time. So we're still very much on the beginning of this journey. As any theory of change is, it's a living framework that will continue to test and adapt every step of the way. It's by no means finished, and nor will it be anytime soon. We believe this process has really helped us as an organization. So if you're interested to know more, please do feel free to talk to me or any of my colleagues here in the next day or two. Thank you.